I guarantee that by watching this video to the end, you'll know exactly how to shed pounds fast and effectively in just a few weeks. First, we need to know the strategy we're taking. It's called a mini cut, and it involves 6 variables that need to be managed to ensure your mini cut is successful. See, a mini cut is a brief yet intense period of dieting aimed at shedding fat quickly while preserving muscle mass. This mini cut is designed to produce noticeable results in just a few weeks, more specifically 3 to 6 weeks. By keeping it short but intense, we minimize the risk of muscle loss and metabolic slowdown without the diet fatigue found with long-term weight loss plans. The key to a successful mini cut lies in the intensity, so let's jump into variable number 1. At the core of this strategy is a significant calorie deficit, typically around 20 to 30% below your maintenance level. And because we are going for rapid and aggressive fat loss, you need to be counting every calorie. With that being said, it's crucial to ensure that the calories you do consume are of high quality, prioritizing low calorie, high volume, nutrient-dense foods over empty calories like potato chips. This ensures that your body gets the essential vitamins and minerals it needs to function optimally while also making sure you're as full as you can be. It doesn't mean you can't have the chips, it's just about balancing hunger versus the feeling of being full. The second part of this is the macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbohydrates, and is equally important. Protein intake should be increased to 1 gram per pound of your ideal body weight to preserve muscle mass and because protein makes you feel fuller for longer. Now, I never suggest dropping your healthy fats too low because they help regulate your hormones. So ideally, you would keep them at 30% of your total daily calories. And the rest of your calories would be your carbs, which would ideally come from complex sources like whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. A quick example might look like this. First, we start with a 30% deficit from your maintenance. If your maintenance was 2,500 calories, that would put you at 1,750 calories a day. If your ideal body weight is 150 pounds, then 600 of those calories would come from protein, with 525 calories coming from fats, and we would finish it off with 625 calories coming from carbs. Lowering your food intake is tough enough already, so we want to burn more fat without having to cut out more food. Which brings me to variable number 2. We all know that you can't outwork a bad diet. However, we also know that movement is what burns additional calories. So it makes sense to add as much extra fat burning as we can, especially since we're doing such an aggressive cut of our food. The real question is, which cardio should you be doing? And the answer is walking. Now, I know there are different exercises that actually burn more calories, for example, running. However, what makes walking special is that it's low impact, burns the most actual fat from your body, and doesn't require any equipment, unless you want to use a treadmill. But most importantly, it doesn't increase your levels of ghrelin, aka the hunger hormone. This means you can do extended periods of walking without getting hungry, without needing extended periods of rest, and without overworking your legs, meaning that it can be done literally every day without you feeling too exhausted, which is incredibly important for variable number 3. See, resistance training is a must-have in any mini cut plan because it helps keep your muscle mass intact while you burn fat. By incorporating exercises like weightlifting, for example, you're challenging your muscle to grow and stay strong. This is especially important when you're cutting calories because it prevents your muscles from shrinking. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you can lose weight and still not look the way you want? This is why. Plus, muscles burn more calories at rest than fat, so you're keeping your metabolism revved up. Of course, there's a lot of different weightlifting exercises you can choose from, but I choose to focus on compound movements like squats, deadlifts, bench presses, and rows, simply because these exercises work multiple muscle groups at once. Now, all of that's great, but you really need to understand this next variable if you plan to make it to the end of this mini cut, and it's fatigue management. See, effective fatigue management is something you will need to do for the rest of your life, but it's even more important during a mini cut, simply because a significant calorie deficit combined with an intense exercise regimen can lead to increased physical and mental fatigue. To mitigate these effects, it's essential to prioritize adequate sleep. The reason is because quality sleep not only aids in recovery and muscle repair, but also helps regulate hormones that control hunger and stress. It's important to understand that fatigue management is more than just sleep. It's also in your weightlifting regimen as well. The good news is you don't need near as much volume to maintain what you already have, and the goal of a mini cut is not to gain muscle, but rather lose fat while keeping the muscle you have. So I recommend backing off slightly on your weightlifting, but keep the intensity. Also pay attention to signs of excessive fatigue, such as persistent muscle soreness or lack of motivation. If these symptoms arise, it may be necessary to reduce the intensity or frequency of your workouts temporarily. Also, stay hydrated. It helps maintain energy levels and supports overall metabolic functions. So now that you've got all the other pieces in place, how much fat loss should you expect? During a mini cut, you can expect to lose approximately 1 to 1.5% of your body weight per week. For most people, this translates to a total fat loss of 1.5 to 3 pounds per week over the course of the mini cut. Now, while this may not seem like a drastic amount, the short duration and focused approach of a mini cut can lead to noticeable improvements in body composition and muscle definition. It's important to remember that rapid weight loss beyond this range can increase the risk of muscle loss and metabolic slowdown. Just be sure to track the data like scale weight, progress pictures, and body measurements so you know if any adjustments are necessary. But none of it will matter if you don't transition. See, transitioning out of a mini cut is just as important as a mini cut itself. And this is where most people drop the ball. They either just stop and discontinue everything, which is bound to put the weight back on, or they try to push the cut farther than they should, resulting in a metabolic adaptation or worse, burnout, which leads to them quitting anyway. So once you've hit that maximum of 6 weeks, it's important to increase your caloric intake and adjust your workout routine to avoid rebound weight gain and metabolic slowdown. Additionally, maintain a balanced exercise regimen that includes both resistance training and cardio to support continued muscle growth and fat maintenance. This careful transition helps stabilize your results, ensuring that the fat loss you achieved during the mini cut is sustainable in the long run. Anyway, congratulations on losing that extra body fat, but to ensure you keep it off for good, I'd recommend you watch this video right here about the 6 habits lean people never skip.